Robot girl doesn't talk much because the equipment doesn't work properly. My sister's voice cut through the dinner table conversation like shattered glass, and something in my chest went cold and still, the way a lake freezes from the center outward. I watched my 6-year-old daughter Lily's face crumple in slow motion, her small fingers rising instinctively to touch the hearing aid fitted just 3 weeks ago, the device that had opened up a world of sounds she'd been missing, the device my company manufactured. My name is Rachel, I'm 38, and I run a medical technology company worth $1.8 billion. This is the story of how my family, the Hendersons as my parents have always proudly called us, learned the true cost of cruelty. What is that thing on her ear anyway? My sister Natalie continued, gesturing with her wine glass. It looks like some kind of robot attachment. Around the table, my parents and my brother Owen exchanged glances. Not glances of disapproval at Natalie's words, glances of agreement. "Well, that's unfortunate," my mother said, setting down her fork with deliberate precision. "Have you considered less visible options, Rachel? Something people won't notice?" The audiologist had explained that Lily's specific type of hearing loss required this exact device, the one my company had spent 4 years developing, the one that had helped 30,000 children hear their mothers say, "I love you," for the first time. "This is the most effective option for her development," I said, my voice steady despite the ice spreading through my veins. "Development?" My father leaned back in his chair. "Is she going to need special accommodations? Special schools?" "She's in a regular classroom, Dad. She's thriving." Natalie sighed dramatically. This is what happens when you wait until your mid-30s to have children. The risks go up for everything. Lily's eyes were filling with tears. She understood every word. The hearing aid amplified their cruelty with perfect clarity. I watched her shrink into herself, this bright, curious child who had been so excited to show her grandparents her new device. "That's enough." My husband Marcus set down his fork with a sharp click. "Oh, don't be so sensitive," my father said. "Natalie's just concerned. We all are. These things affect the whole family, you know." "How exactly does Lily's hearing aid affect you?" I asked, keeping my voice level while my fingernails pressed crescents into my palms beneath the table. My mother's face arranged itself into an expression of practiced concern. "Well, there's the social aspect. People notice these things. They ask questions. Your sister's children attend Westbrook Academy. They have friends whose parents know our family. It reflects on all of us." I looked at my niece and nephew, 12-year-old Stella and 10-year-old Parker, who were studying their plates in uncomfortable silence. Both attended the prestigious Westbrook Academy, where tuition ran $45,000 per year per child. Tuition I had been paying through an educational trust for 6 years without anyone knowing. "It's just a joke, Rachel," my father added. "Lighten up. You've always been too sensitive." Lily's tears were falling now, silent streams down her cheeks. She'd been so proud of her hearing aid this morning, practicing in front of the mirror, asking if Grandma and Grandpa would think it was cool. Marcus stood up. He walked to the front door and opened it, then stood beside it without saying a word, his expression completely neutral. "What are you doing?" Natalie demanded, her voice sharp with incredulity. "You're seriously asking us to leave? Over a joke?" "Out." It was the only word Marcus spoke. They left in a flutter of indignation, my father muttering about disrespect, Natalie shooting wounded looks over her shoulder, my mother pausing at the threshold to deliver her parting shot. "You'll regret this, Rachel. Family is everything." When the door closed, the house felt like it could breathe again. Lily lifted her head from my shoulder. "Are they mad at me, Mommy? Because of my ear?" "No, sweetheart." I smoothed her hair back from her face. "They're wrong about something important, and they're going to learn that." That night, after Lily fell asleep with her hearing aid carefully placed in its charging case on her nightstand, I sat at my desk and opened my laptop. The spreadsheet I'd maintained for 6 years glowed on the screen, a detailed record of every payment, every transfer, every bill I'd quietly covered for my family. Westbrook Academy tuition for Stella and Parker, $90,000 annually. My parents' country club membership, $18,000 annually. My father's luxury car lease. $1,400 monthly. My mother's preferred specialists, the ones outside her insurance network, $3,200 monthly. Owen's business loan, the one that kept his struggling consulting firm afloat, $5,000 monthly. Audio Tech Solutions, the company I'd founded to make hearing aids affordable and accessible, had gone public 2 years ago. The IPO valued it at $1.8 billion. My shares alone were worth approximately $400 million. I'd kept this information private, lived modestly, drove a 7-year-old sedan, wore clothes from department stores. I'd wanted my family to value me for who I was, not what I could provide. But they'd never valued me at all. I'd been the backup plan, the responsible one, the person who quietly fixed problems while they took credit for success and mocked what they perceived as my failures. Tonight, they'd mocked the technology that helped children like Lily hear. Technology I had invented. I opened my banking portal and began canceling automated payments. Each click felt like cutting a thread that had been slowly strangling me for years. The next morning, my phone started ringing at 6:47 a.m. I was making Lily breakfast while she practiced identifying sounds. The coffee maker gurgling, the refrigerator humming, a bird singing outside the window. Her face lit up with each new sound she could name. Natalie's name flashed on my screen. I let it go to voicemail. 3 minutes later, Owen called. Then my mother. Then my father. At 7:34 a.m., my mother's text arrived. Westbrook Academy called. They say the trust fund payments have been suspended. There must be a banking error. I responded, no error. I've withdrawn all educational funding. My phone erupted. I silenced it and drove Lily to school, watching her run toward her classroom, where her teacher waved through the window. She was adjusting beautifully. She was thriving. She was going to be fine, better than fine, without people who saw her medical device as a source of shame. By the time I returned home, there were 17 missed calls and 41 text messages. I read through them systematically. Natalie, you can't do this. Stella and Parker's education isn't a game. My father, this is childish behavior. We can discuss it like adults. Owen, my business account shows a failed transfer. We need to talk. I called Natalie back first. She answered before the first ring finished. What is going on? She demanded. Westbrook just said Stella and Parker's tuition hasn't been paid. Mid-semester, Rachel. I've canceled the educational trust, the one I established 6 years ago. What trust? What are you talking about? The trust funded by my company, Audio Tech Solutions. We manufacture hearing aids, including the exact model Lily wears. We went public 2 years ago. The Wall Street Journal covered it. Silence stretched so long I checked to see if the call had dropped. You don't have a company, Natalie finally said. You work from home doing whatever it is you do. I'm the founder and majority shareholder. My net worth is approximately $400 million. I've been funding your children's education because I believe in investing in the next generation. But last night you mocked my daughter's disability, called her robot girl, made her cry herself to sleep, so I've reassessed my priorities. It was a joke, Natalie whispered. You know I didn't mean anything by it. What I know is that you humiliated a 6-year-old child for having a medical device. A device, by the way, that my company designed specifically to help children like her. The irony isn't lost on me. Rachel, please. Stella and Parker's education can be funded by their parents, I continued. You and Greg both work. You have options. Public schools, scholarship applications, the same options you probably assumed I had when you were mocking my daughter's hearing aid. You can't just. I can. I have. The trust is dissolved. I ended the call and dialed the country club's billing department. The representative was apologetic but efficient. The membership was canceled within minutes. My father called 30 seconds later. What is happening? He demanded without greeting. Your mother just received a call from the club and her doctor's office is asking for a new payment method. I've canceled all the recurring payments I've been making on your behalf. The country club membership, Mom's out-of-network specialists, your car lease, Owen's business support, all of it. You've been making payments? His confusion was genuine. What are you talking about? Where did you think the money was coming from, Dad? Your insurance doesn't cover Mom's preferred oncologist. Your portfolio took major losses in 2020. Owen's consulting business operates at a deficit. I've been covering approximately $18,000 monthly in family expenses for the past 6 years. That's impossible. You don't have that kind of money. I have considerably more than that kind of money. I built a medical device company that revolutionized affordable hearing aid technology. We have contracts with 16 countries. We supply every major audiology clinic in North America. Last quarter's revenue was $230 million. I could hear him processing information that didn't fit his understanding of his disappointing daughter, the one who'd never quite lived up to expectations. "Why would you cancel our support over a simple misunderstanding?" he finally asked. It wasn't a misunderstanding. Natalie deliberately mocked Lily's hearing aid, a device my company manufactures. "You told me to lighten up. Mom suggested we hide Lily's medical device because it might embarrass the family socially. This wasn't an accident. This was your collective decision to treat my daughter as a shameful burden while benefiting from my success. We didn't mean it that way." Then explain to me the kind interpretation of calling a disabled child robot girl at a family dinner. He had no answer. The Westbrook tuition bills will arrive in 10 days, $90,000 for both children. The country club will bill directly starting next month. Your car lease payment is due in 3 weeks. Owen's business loan installment is scheduled for the 15th. These are all your responsibilities now. Rachel, be reasonable. We can't afford all of that. Then you'll need to make choices. The same choices you assumed I was making while raising a child with medical needs. Downsize, use in-network doctors, drive a more modest car, explore public school options. These are all perfectly reasonable solutions you'd probably recommend to me. My mother grabbed the phone. "Sweetheart, please. We love you and Lily. Last night was unfortunate, but we're family." Family doesn't mock a child's disability. Family doesn't suggest hiding medical equipment out of social embarrassment. Family doesn't assume someone is struggling while benefiting from their hidden support. "We didn't know you were helping us financially. You never said anything. You never asked. You never wondered how a mother with a medically complex child seemed so calm about bills. You built a narrative about my failures and stopped seeing the reality in front of you. Can we at least meet? Talk about this in person?" I paused. An idea had been forming since last night. Something more direct than phone calls and canceled payments. Something that would make them truly understand. "Fine. Sunday, the Westbrook Academy Spring Fundraiser. You're still on the guest list through the end of the month." That Sunday evening, I arrived at the fundraiser in a dress I'd bought specifically for the occasion. Not flashy, but unmistakably expensive. Marcus walked beside me and Lily held my hand, her hearing aid visible and unhidden. The Westbrook Academy Spring Fundraiser was the social event of the season for families like the one my parents pretended to be. Crystal chandeliers, silent auctions for European vacations, board members circulating with champagne. My family was already there, clustered near the entrance in clothes that looked slightly wrong for the occasion. The kind of wrong that happens when you're suddenly shopping in a different price bracket. Natalie spotted me first. Her face went through several expressions before settling on desperate hope. "Rachel," she said, approaching quickly, "I'm so glad you came. Can we talk? Please?" "Actually, I'm here for the presentation." "What presentation?" The headmaster appeared at the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. Before we begin the auction, I'm delighted to announce a significant donation to our special education program. Please welcome Rachel Morrison, founder and CEO of Audiotech Solutions." The room applauded politely. My family's faces went slack with shock. I walked to the podium, Lily's hand still in mine. "Thank you. Audiotech Solutions is proud to announce a $2 million donation to Westbrook Academy's hearing and accessibility programs. This gift will fund hearing screenings for all students, assistive technology for those who need it, and training for teachers to better support children with hearing differences." I looked directly at my family. My daughter Lily has moderate hearing loss. She wears a hearing aid designed by my company, the same technology that helps 30,000 children across the country. For a long time, I kept my success private. I wanted to be valued for who I was, not what I could provide. But I've learned that some people will never value what they can't see. Lily tugged my hand. I lifted her up to the microphone. "My hearing aid helps me hear my mom say she loves me," Lily said clearly, her voice amplified through the sound system. "It's not a robot thing. It's a helping thing." The room erupted in genuine applause. I saw tears on several faces. Parents who understood, who had children with their own differences, who recognized the courage it took for a 6-year-old to stand at a podium and defend herself. My mother was crying too, but for different reasons. Afterward, the headmaster personally escorted us through the silent auction. Board members introduced themselves, mentioned investment opportunities, praised Lily's bravery. The social currency my family had been trading on for years, their proximity to prestige, their membership in exclusive spaces, was nothing compared to the respect that came from actually contributing something meaningful. My father approached me near the dessert table. His face had aged 10 years in a week. "I had no idea," he said quietly, "about any of it. The company, the money, the support you've been giving us. I feel like I don't know you at all." "You didn't want to know me, Dad. You wanted the daughter you'd decided I was. Disappointing, struggling, someone to be managed. Every time I tried to show you something different, you explained it away. When I finished my MBA, you said that's nice. When I founded my company, you asked when I'd get a real job. We were worried about you. You were disappointed in me. There's a difference." Owen found me next, his face drawn with anxiety. "My business has been struggling for months. I know, I'd been monitoring the filings since I stopped the payments. Without my support, you'll need to make hard choices." "I have a family to support?" "So do I. The difference is that my family has never mocked your children for existing." Natalie didn't approach at all. She spent the evening pressed against a wall, watching her children's former classmates, children she'd spent years cultivating relationships with, pointedly avoid her. Greg stood beside her, stone-faced, saying nothing. His usual response when Natalie's behavior created consequences he hadn't anticipated. The social standing she'd used as a weapon against Lily had evaporated the moment the checks stopped clearing. 2 months later, my mother showed up at my door. I let her in. "I need to understand," she said, "why you never told us about your success." "Would it have changed how you treated me?" She considered this honestly. "Probably, yes." "That's why I didn't tell you. I wanted you to value me as a person, not as a resource." "But we did value you. Name one time you celebrated something I accomplished without qualifying it, without comparing it to Natalie or Owen, without suggesting I could have done better." She couldn't. "You celebrated Natalie's wedding for a week. Tom's promotion got a family dinner. When I was featured in Forbes, you asked if it was one of those paid placements." "I didn't know it was real," she whispered. "Because you didn't want it to be real. A successful Rachel didn't fit your narrative. A struggling Rachel who needed family guidance. That was easier." "What do I do now?" "I don't know, Mom. What would you tell me to do if our positions were reversed?" She left without asking for the financial support to be restored. That surprised me. What came next surprised me more. Over the following weeks, she sent 3 letters, not asking for money, but sharing memories of me as a child that she said she'd been thinking about. I didn't respond. I wasn't ready, but I kept the letters. The consequences continued to ripple through my family. Natalie and Greg enrolled Stella and Parker in public school. My parents sold their house and moved to a condo. Owen closed his consulting firm and took a middle management position at a larger company. My father now drives a 10-year-old Honda. But here's what else happened. Lily thrived. She adjusted beautifully to her hearing aid and made friends who thought it was cool. Her teachers reported significant improvement. She started a hearing helper club at school for kids with assistive devices. The money I'd been spending on my family, I redirected it all. The Morrison Foundation now funds hearing aids for children whose families can't afford them, scholarships for audiology students, research grants for accessibility technology, summer camps where kids with hearing devices can just be kids. Last month, I received a letter from a mother in Ohio. Her 7-year-old daughter had just received her first hearing aid through our foundation. She heard birds singing for the first time, the letter said. She cried, I cried. We both just stood in the backyard and listened. That's what my family could have been part of. Instead, they chose to mock a child at a dinner table. And Lily? She drew a picture of our family last week, me, Marcus, herself, and her hearing aid, which she'd given its own smiling face. At the bottom, in careful 6-year-old handwriting, she'd written, "My family, the people who love all of me." Marcus framed it for his office. He still tears up when he looks at it. She doesn't ask about her grandparents much anymore. When she does, I tell her the truth. Some people need time to learn how to love properly. Some people never learn at all. And we can't make ourselves smaller to fit into spaces that weren't built for us. My parents and siblings have settled into their new reality. Modest homes, practical cars, public schools. We exchange brief messages on holidays now, polite and distant. No one has apologized to Lily directly, which tells me everything I need to know about whether they've truly changed. The Henderson name, which my parents wore like a badge of social standing, carries no weight anymore. Not in the circles they once moved through, not in my life. They learned what I'd known for years. Family isn't a name or an obligation. It's the people who celebrate you, not the people who tolerate you while benefiting from your success. I built something that helps children hear. They built nothing but assumptions about my failures, and now they live with the difference. Before you go, here's a quick bonus for sticking around. If you love learning and growing like I do, you need to try audiobooks. I've got an exclusive deal with Audible. Your first month is completely free. That's access to over 500,000 titles, zero cost to you. All the details are waiting in the description. Don't miss this one.